here, we have a choice through information about where we want to be, if you like, in the hierarchy of creator, if you like. Either at the top here, creator and mankind, or creation here. And obviously government is created under us, and under government we have the legal society, the fake and fraudulent entire legal society, which is fraud and 100% fraud. Then you have the politicians, what they call mandates, which is basically a hot night on the town between two basically gay Freemasons, not laws. Mandate, it's nothing to do with law. Mandates is entirely fraudulent. Unfortunately, for those in primarily in America and North America, seem to think that mandates are laws still. It's entirely wrong. Law is pretty much what Vegar was talking about yesterday, or the 3 principles of common law, you know, do no harm, cause no harm, no trespass. Everything else is basically fake and fraudulent by self-appointed bosses who've appointed themselves our bosses throughout history in order to control and suppress others. So mandates is not law, and people should, anyone here has got any good contacts with any press in America should inform them big time that mandate is not law. But now I've heard that Mike Adams announced a few hours ago that it's been stopped, the vaccines. I don't know, but anyhow. Then we have the fake and fraudulent judges, obviously operating private businesses, and prosecutor, and obviously the titles, the persons, the legal name fraud, and everyone knows about that. But that's just a reminder. I think there was somebody in this group yesterday who was studying law in Norway. So that obviously if you study law, you become training to become a criminal, basically. If you're a lawyer in Norway, you're basically training to become a criminal.
Just taking my enemy close.
Basically, I consider anyone working in the entire legal system as basically criminals committing high treason, and frankly should be standing in front of a firing squad. And that's my attitude, particularly in Norway, because they're highly involved in human trafficking, practically all of them. But now, okay, let's move onward. That's that. Unless you're working with the law of mankind and the law of mankind, which is basically common law and so on, then you're not working with law at all. You're working with entrapment and fraud. And the entire legalese has got nothing to do with law whatsoever, just so you know. Nordica's law and Norse law is not the same thing, and it's all completely fraudulent. But the politicians are just titles, actors, Hollywood actors basically, and they just write fiction like a comic, and then they call that a mandate and say, oh, sim sally bum, now that's a law just because I say so. But everyone knows that here. Then we move on to the next one here. This was about a 10-minute video that I showed about a month ago. And this is a short introduction to common law, and the way this video explains what common law is by first explaining what it isn't, and that's, if you like, contract law. And the last, well, since about 1946, obviously we've all forgotten how to negotiate contract. Obviously it's all offers, and we can negotiate or we can decline, or no contract. And we've all forgotten in Europe how to do this, because there is no valid, obviously, law system whatsoever, and hasn't been for a very, very long time. Although this, sorry?
There is a law system.
Okay, Hubby's coming in the background here. Real law exists, but what I'm saying, it's not being obviously practiced by the fraudulent corporations calling themselves houses in courts. That's all just private owned companies. So that's that video, and that's just a quick reminder on the right here. Contract law versus common law, which is do no harm, cause no harm, do not trespass. And this is the video that I also showed a month ago, the first 10 minutes of it, sorry. This is called war castles. War castles is the the name of the Masonic warfare platform, which is operating mankind. And this is extremely interesting video. If anyone's interested, I would watch the first 10 minutes of that again. And this is an American man who's military, who's worked in psychological operations, and he knows all about this war castles. He explains how the world has been, if you like, controlled through, in fact, royalty and the Vatican, the banks, through shipping, military, admiralty, shipping terms, the postal service and commerce banking. Obviously that's joined by other tools, obviously the media, fake religion all created by the Vatican, or organized religion, no matter in the world, is all created by the Vatican. The sorry? Yeah, it's all taken down. It's all taken down now. I just explained the background. The med to kill industry, as I explained in the last video, the entire medical industry is basically the warfare department of the Vatican, or was, and obviously so on, since the time of the Jesuits in the late 1600s. That's why you have the International Red Cross with the cross, obviously it's the Maltese cross and so on. The fake monetary system, and obviously what is now dying, hopefully the corporate globalist political run state system, which is all corporations under maritime law with its administration of this, the legal system, which is entirely fraud. It's nothing to do with mankind or the living man. It's legal, is not law. So that's that. And then about a year ago, I was sent this video here, and we can see a little bit of it, but it's in German. Now, I moved to Germany 3.5 years ago after spending 20 years living in Norway, and I spoke no German whatsoever. And I, obviously people who've followed alternative media for a very long time, and, you know, I thought I'd heard of the most. But last year I came across this video and I didn't really understand enough German to get it. And then it popped up again this year, and I thought, okay, I'll just have to get to know what this is, because it's clear that it's a key video. So I'll just put that in sound modus. Here we go. I can't really translate it, but I've done a couple of snippets from key sections. Let's see if I can move that out of the way. How do I start it? Strange. Okay. Don't know why it's not starting. Anyhow, it's also within this website. This is the website where it is. I'll just go to that instead.
May you put this link down in the chat room so we can see this video?
Yeah, sure. I'll put it in there later on.
Thank you.
I've asked 2 people from Germany to join me. Anyone here speak German who's on already? I sent 2 invitations to Germans, but I don't think they're here. It was too late notice. One was in Canada, but was German born. Okay, so what he does, this is obviously alternative channel in German, and he says, everyone who thinks they've heard of the most, this is extremely important video, because it gives you the tools to create, what do you call it, skapa rätt för uret, to create, och rätt upp uret, alltså jag tänker inte vara där på engelska, liksom, but correct ill deed into a good deed. Enough is enough.
Yeah, maybe you have to copy the link and put it in the new browser.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He basically goes on to explain this is a really, really important information to get with you. And he goes on to explain that UPO, the Universal Postal Union, is basically the head of the world military. And it's operated through postcodes, through post offices, and post. If you think of the word order in English, a lot of all this deception or what we don't know in society is hidden in language. So what he goes on to reveal is that orders, as in post or order, a bank post or an accounting is a post. You have a military post, or you can have a postal order or a bank post. And it's all interconnected through postcodes. And it was at commerce. So it's basically your postcode, a postcode, no matter where you are in the world, is a military post. It's both a post for sending letters. It's, if you like, it's to do with commerce and postal orders, and it's a military post. So when you think in English of things like the word post, it has got several different meanings. It can be like a military post. You can talk in banking or accounting about an open or closed post to do with money and banking, or to make an order, a standing order it's called in English, like a direct debit. Yeah. And this, if you like, deception that has been done upon mankind since 1946, when the Bretton Woods Agreement and turning everything into corporations and so on, is that they're forcing upon us orders that we have not made. And that's also called in English unsolicited business, if you like. So in other words, it's a swindle. So in English, we have the word for attorney in American English is basically solicitor, yeah. And you can tell from that word alone, is to solicit is like a prostitute. She's soliciting businesses, yeah. It's someone basically looking for business, like a prostitute on the street. So it's unwanted solicitation, unwanted orders. For example, if you get a letter in the post, a fee from the police, or to pay for road tolls, or an invitation to go to court, to go to prison, it's all orders that you have not ordered. You're not getting anything in return for that. You haven't placed an order. Everything where you have not started the initiation to place an order is unlawful. Another good example of what a post is, for example, hospital post, like was explained in this earlier video that we saw a month ago. It talks how when you're born, the birth certificate, and you're a ward of the state, and it's like a ward is like a place in hospital where there's 12 patients or what have you. So it's all interconnected with military terms, admiralty terms, banking, commerce. Now here it says down here that every nation, or these words that are basically fictions, are all put together by, it's the postcodes, and we have all these fake fictions in the earth, countries and jurisdictions and geographical territories. It's all fraudulent. It's just to create business, because it's one earth, and therefore there should be no, if you like, boundaries. But what it says here, that each nation has its own post system and its bank and, if you like, commerce systems, but they're all under the UPU, which is Universal Postal Union. And the UPU is both a military post, international admiralty. It's like both commercial and it's military. And it's the highest military authority on the planet. So that's what this page says in short, the key information, and its head office in supposedly neutral Switzerland, laugh, laugh, Switzerland. You can tell from the flag of Switzerland what that really stands for. And so it's the highest organization in the world with regards to organization for controlling the world. So you could say it's actually the head organization of the New World Order, but it's been taken over by Trump and the White Hats, apparently. So this is more information that I got sent from some German people that gives a kind of transcription partly of that video. Some of this information is now outdated, but it talks, here again, it's the #1 authority or military authority on the planet. And it's above all countries, and it's above all local countries' constitutions or laws. It's above all jurisdictions worldwide. It's literally above everything else in the world. And it was before, directly under the Pope and the Vatican, but Trump and the White Hats have apparently taken this over. And that I picked up on this video. Now, this video was on YouTube. It was removed about 24 hours later, but like I managed to take it down. So I think we should just watch all of this. I think it's well worth a watch, and then you get some confirmation that this is the case. What is interesting is that, I mean, I've followed alternative media maybe 15 years or so. I've never heard anybody mention the UPU ever. So this is clearly something that's kept well out of the public eye, unless you follow these people like perhaps Russell J. Gold and Mark Christopher and other people like that who are following the UCC, because it's interconnected, obviously. UCC, it's military, commerce, postal and banking, it's all one and the same. So I think we'll just watch this. Let's hope I can get this video going now. Let's try in the...
in the old days, we had...
my husband's trying to say something. Can you hear everybody?
Yeah, I say that in the old days when people had others working for them in their homes, these people who worked in other people's homes, they had a post there. You see, it's always been about the post. The postal orders.
Yeah, in the old days, you had to make it ordered by the post.
Yeah.
And obviously it was all in paper, and it was all handwritten. It was never electronic. It was never by phone, because we didn't have these things.
It's not about that. When you had work in a home, you had a poster.
You had a poster.
Yeah, you had a poster when you had a job in the house. Like, I mean, like someone who tidied up the house or something.
A post as work, you mean?
When you worked, you were hired to watch the children or keep the house tidy or cook food and stuff. They had a post there.
Can you hear what he's saying? I don't think I can hear anything.
Yes, I can hear.
Yes.
And, if you should try to explain it in Norwegian, will it er det en stilling?
Ja, jeg kan si det slik at i gamle dager så var det slik at mange herregårder, de hadde folk ansatt til å ta vare på barna, til å lage mat og slike ting. Alle de hadde en post i huset, altså en arbeidsoppgave, som vi da fikk betalt for. Og derav kommer også dette med post. Og når man har en post, så er man også på sin post. Og det samme med militæret, de har vaktposter, og de har alle mulige poster de også. Og alle de gjøremålene vi har, det er det som er posten. Vi har post. Det er det vi gjør når vi er i et arbeid. Og derfor så har alle en adresse under sitt navn, som er en postadresse. Der vi bor, der vi lever, der vi jobber, og slik, der er vi på post. Vi er våre egne herrer i vårt eget hus, og vi er våre egne herrer i vårt eget liv. So we are alltid på post.
Well, that's why it's also part of the fraud. Well, they say that we don't live at today. They've converted us obviously into these legal name frauds, fictions, and birth certificates, which I hope will be dying shortly. So now they want us all the time to say that our home is a residence, a business residence. Okay, but now I found the video here on Bright Isles. Let's go to look at that.
Takk for presentasjonen på norsk der, som han fortalte. Det forklarte en god del av det som jeg lurte på.
Hva sa du?
Det var fint det som mannen din sa. Det forklarte en del av hvordan systemet, navnet post betyr.
Ok, dette er ikke så det er bare 12 minutter dette. Hæ? En 50?
Er det mulig for deg å kanskje dele den linken? Jeg har selv hatt problemer når jeg kjører PowerPoint, at jeg får ikke videoene i gang. Så jeg må
Ja,
få
nei, jeg har
delt
gått til
linkene.
det. Ja, det er et eller annet. Altså, det fungerte i ettermiddag da jeg gjorde det, men det fungerer ikke nå. Men jeg skal bare, mannen min sier at jeg kan bare gå direkte til hvor det står om Trump, så slipper vi se på det. Skal vi se, det står under her. 6 minutes, 46 seconds. Okay, that would go 6 minutes. After.
Jeg fant linken til den, så jeg legger den ned i chatten også. Jeg fikk den frem på skjermen min. Skal jeg prøve å dele fra meg? Hvis du ikke får den opp. Jeg har delt linken ned i chatten i tillegg. Mens vi venter, så fikk jeg lastet opp i Rumble videoen fra i går kveld, da vi hadde med John Smith. So the video from yesterday, where we had John Smith from Common Law Court joining us, it is on Rumble in the channel called EQNN. I will try to put videos up there when I succeeded to make it.
Okay, now it just said it. Trump is head of 140 armies of the world. By having taken over the Vatican as head, of the UPU.
It's a fantastic news because we are waiting for it, everyone. So therefore, with this UPU, it's the biggest key.
That is the only mention it makes of the UPU, but that alone probably ensured that it was removed under about 24 hours from YouTube. So we'll just move on. All links to this I'll put in afterwards.
Yeah.
Now,
we can take all questions afterwards.
yeah, because I hope some things will become clear. And I have to say that we're a beginner of this. We're working with people around the world collecting information on their experiences of doing this. and all we get is that it's very positive. We see this as a first line of defense. I didn't like to move to a country in the late 50s that I couldn't speak the language. I wanted a defense, and this to me was the ultimate defense. So the implications to those who commit postal fraud are several. The feedback we've had so far is that UPU, from what I understand from the German documents I've gone through, and as much as I can understand, and from hearing from other people who are using this, is that if you forward it onto the UPU, everything gets looked at, both with a view to postal fraud. There's specific rules that they have worldwide how post should be sent. It's got to be always with a physical stamp, like in the old days when you licked and put on the top right-hand corner. And they also check the layout, the envelope, but not only that, the content of the envelope now. And then they're out to make money. So think about it this way: when Trump has taken over, and the white hats, as in those who want to get rid of the New World Order, if you start basically forwarding fraudulent post fines, court orders, incassaburo, that kind of thing, anything that's fraudulent and unsolicited to the UPU, then basically they're going to get a whopping fine. They could even be arrested. We hear that the first time they get a fine in either 10,000 euros, pounds or dollars. The second time it's 100,000. And the third time it's 500,000. That's what it said in the German video that I didn't play. And they get a warning, and they could even get arrested. And from what we have been collecting in terms of feedback from observations and other people who are doing this, is that they never hear back from the initial company that sent you the fine or the threat or whatever. And that not only that, that the local post office becomes very scared, and the people delivering the post into your post box very nervous and sort of, oh, it's only this, it's only that. They know that they've committed a crime. They know this. So it's clear that since 1946, when everything was turned into corporations and our countries were stolen from us, that the post office has been used to allow just worldwide massive fraud through corporations, with nothing being done correct and everything being privatized. Like in Norway, you have that Bingen, yeah, and obviously post Norway, everything's been privatized. They started the massive use of franking machines, which is unlawful because they're not paying a penny for them. Obviously, the Freemasons just sit on a franking machine and franken don't pay a penny for the post, and they have all their parallel systems. So the UPU can fine and even arrest key players and companies involved in the fraud. Now, this could be on multiple layers. We suspect, because it's a military post, a postal post and a commercial post, that they'll obviously be interested in collecting fines on multiple levels, not only from the sender, so that would be the corporation. They might go on the corporation and the individuals who wrote the letter. And then we suspect that the post office is used in posting you that letter from the post box, for example, the police, to put the post box in to the sorting office and to the local post office and local postmen and women. We've also, one of our contacts here has told us that they've told the local postwoman that if she comes with another letter in her hand to deliver to him, he's going to basically get her name and send it direct to the UPU, and she'll get a massive fine. And I've started doing a bit the same. I'm going out of the house when the postman or woman is coming, just to see what they're bringing in their hand, and they're really nervous. So they obviously know, they've obviously been informed, they've obviously received their fine, and we've heard nothing from the equivalent of the local council who wanted to fine us 7,500 euros. But no, we won't go into that, what that was about. But they sent someone onto our door, trespass, and we gave them details that they're just a corporation, just like McDonald's, and have no so-called authority over us whatsoever. They're just like employees at McDonald's, and they sort of claim they didn't know. So we thought, okay, we'll just go full out and do the UPU route. So we now did it on 2 letters, and they've received a €10,000 fine. They sent us a fine for 7,500. UPU sent them 10,000, we presume, and received a second local letter from the local council. They just actually wanted €11, but we just thought, oh, sod it, we've had enough. So we just sent it to UPU, and presumably they've received a fine for 10,000. So now we get very, very little post, and the post we get now has stamps on it. And it's clear from just observing local people that we suspect have Freemason-run businesses, because in Germany, believe it or not, you can order your own car number plate, and it's absolutely outrageous. All the Freemasons are running around in number plates ending in 666, 999, or 696, or 606, or 69, or the XY. Yeah, it's just insanely obvious. So that they're nervous, the local post people. The good news is that when you get when it's postal fraud, the content of that letter is null and void. It's automatic null and void when it's postal fraud. And I suspect because it's also obviously contract and commerce, and it's UCC and it's post, and they want to earn money, they'll probably double charge the offender, the corporation that sent you a fine or whatever, both for postal fraud and for contract fraud. Somebody we know here. Yeah, because they're a corporation and they got nothing to do with a living. So a friend of ours who got hauled in by the police, well, he just did a double bender. What he did is that he called chef, which is the Supreme Headquarters, what is it? Yeah, Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force, yeah. In other words, the American Protectorate in Germany. He copied them on this, as well as the UPU. And what happened is that the police corporation, all of which of course is Dunn's, registered Dun Bradstreet registered corporations, they had to creep back to him and apologize, 10 of them in a row. They got hauled in by Chef, the Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force in Germany, the American Protectorate. So it obviously works. Now they keep away. They were reminded that the German police corporation has got nothing to do with the living man and women. So that's.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
And so when you're getting letters from the government,
yes.
And they use a machine stamp,
yes.
It's the content of the letter is doesn't count.
Correct.
Okay.
All contents of the letter are fraud.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
I'm going to be showing samples of this. So our experience so far is that you hear nothing more from that company. We received a bunch of threats, a huge fine, and we had to do this and this and this and this before the 21st of September, and we haven't heard anything. And the same goes for other people we know who are doing the same. And with our other thing we've experienced is that we get hardly any post now, because they've obviously been informed, the local post office, that they've received a whopping fine for cooperating and assisting and abetting to fraud, to deliver fraud, yeah, to deliver fraud, yeah, deliver unlawful contracting between corporations and the living. So that's what we've experienced. Now, to look at some samples of unlawful postal fraud. This is in German. Now here you can see this is obviously franked, but it's not a real stamp. It's got to be a real stamp. This one I put in for a bit of fun because, as you probably know, obviously all elections now are just completely fraudulent. All elections have been fraudulent since 1946. Or in Germany's case, there's been real elections since 1956. But as everyone in this group knows, anyhow, no politicians ever work for us. They're just, you know, they're self-employed, trading in their own name under maritime law, contract law, owning businesses, earning millions for themselves, their own pockets. And all political parties are just controlled opposition. It's all the two wings of the eagle. It's the Masonic platform going back to Babylon. The entire political platform is fraudulent. None of them work for us, only themselves. So this, in short, is a little homemade sticker somebody has made. This was an invitation to vote, local votes from this year, just a couple of months ago. And this is someone's made a homemade little sticker to put on the envelope here, pointing to what is wrong with this and how it's fraud. So it's quite a nice little educational document in itself. Here it talks that the laws are unlawful, and it's forbidden to, and it's rättighet, it's forbidden, and it's ugyldig, and it's null and void, as you say in English. Here it says that all elections since 1956 are rättsstridig, yeah, because all elections, BRD is basically Deutschland GmbH, Bundesland, Republik Deutschland, in other words, you know, United States of America Corp, yeah, it's a company, corporation, and therefore the elections are invalid because it's nothing to do with us. It's just private contractors, agents committing high treason, calling themselves politicians when they just work for a corporation. This is saying suspect of Tauschung. Now again, I can't remember what that word is exactly, but the next one here is suspicion of post fraud due to lack of stamp, vet market as in a real value. A real value is the stamp, according to the UPU. And this is a really good little piece of information that you can have up your sleeve if you want a little quick up your sleeve tool to stop police or anyone who stops you. Say you can ask them, prove to me that you're not Duns registered, or deny that you are Dun registered. Obviously Dun and Bradstreet, that's a register you can look up on the internet. I can send you a link to that, where you can basically prove that whoever stops you is working for a corporation. You can check any company worldwide on Dun and Bradstreet. Now these numbers here, I haven't actually gone in to check these, but no doubt this is probably the equivalent of, you know, the Senate and the Congress in America, and the, you know, DOJ, whatever, Department of Justice, and the equivalent, but all for Germany, because they're all private corporations, obviously the so-called Department of Justice. Oh, it's all just corporations. None of it has got anything to do with us. It's all fraud, fraud, fraud. So that's a good little one to have as a little trick. And here's some Duns numbers that I took a screen dump of from a very good video, where they took some samples in America, all these Duns numbers. And also down below, this fake jurisdiction they have in New York for the United Nations, which is obviously John D. Rockefeller. He had a little plot of land in New York, which he just redesigned as his own jurisdiction. And he made up his own law and called that United Nations geographical territory. And now it has, all these are all, obviously, it's all fraud, 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 all private corporations. So people obeying mandates are just completely brain dead. You've got to, mandates are just something they invent. All private corporations have got nothing to do with the living whatsoever. So then here's some samples of postal fraud from Germany. And this is a bit like the Norwegian equivalent of something called Bingen. Yeah, it's all stamped, no stamp, real stamp, as in the old days. Just a franking machine here. This is the local council, obviously using blue for maritime. And they changed all the police cars here about a year and a half ago from being in green and white to being blue and white striped, obviously maritime law, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sorry? Blue and silver. And what's the silver stand for then? It's all fraud, yeah. Yeah, it's all Blackwater Constellis. Obviously, there's no real police anywhere. It's Blackwater Constellis. So, yeah, it's Blackwater Constellis everywhere. There are no real police. So, it's just hired thugs, as my husband's saying in the background here. So this is how you can look out for fraudulent. It's a sample of a fraudulent element. Anything that's franked is fraud. Now, here's one from Norway. And that's, again, is total identical. You know, this Freemasonry symbol here, as above, so below. Typical Freemasonry symbolism. It's no stamp. It would be interesting to know what this is. If we had insider information, that could be quite interesting. It's probably where it is sent. It could also be an internal police code or Freemasons Lodge or something like that. I don't know. Here you can see it's all uppercase. It's a corporation. This Trøndelag is like a state within Norway, and mid-Norway area called Trøndelag Polity District. It's a corporation, obviously. And then we have here, this is something I spent many hours on yesterday. I thought this was really interesting. Now, this is, I've had one of these myself when I lived in Norway. When I received a fine, pure money laundering, I found out it was a Freemason who had a 9-degree Freemason later on, who stopped me on Gjelleråsen, just on the outskirts of Oslo. And I got very suspicious because he asked me what job I had, you see, because he wanted to know roughly how much money I was earning to try and find out how much money he think I could afford to pay him, yeah, because they're all self-employed. All police are self-employed. They're trading in their own name, as well as being employed by the police corporation. What I did when I was in Norway was that I found out, I thought, he was telling me, pay now on the spot or see you in court. It was like, you know, applying pressure. And I said, hang on a minute there. Are you trying to tell me, is this all about earning money? He didn't like that. I was recording everything, of course. He didn't like that. And then I thought, okay, what is your fee for stopping me here? And I have done absolutely nothing, because I just didn't want to show him my ID because I knew it was fraud and money laundering on their legal name, fiction. And anyhow, what happened is that afterwards I rang a Lillestrøm politikontor and I asked them, I'd like to see a list of your standard fines for certain things that you stop people for, right? And they didn't like that. So I ended up, they passed me from one person to another and then another and another. And they clearly did not like I was asking about this. And I was pretty sure already before I made that phone call, which of course I recorded, that they didn't have a standard fine. It was all made up. I just wanted to get feedback from the way they reacted to confirm what I already suspected. They didn't have a standard fine because obviously they just make the fines up on the spot. It's all about making money. It's total, utter fraud. And they learn obviously intimidation techniques.
Could I, one more question?
Yeah.
Do you think it is like that still today when they are stopping people on the highway or wherever?
Yeah,
they just
worldwide.
The amount.
Sure. They look at you and they think, oh, she's probably has about that much money, blah, blah, blah. What job do you have? How much can you afford? They make it totally up. It's completely, utterly fraudulent. And then they work together with politiadvokat, police lawyers. And they send you this correspondence. The so-called politiadvokat is to make it it's used to make it look real. Oh yes, we can both make money on this. And that's why.
They look at the kind of car you're driving.
Sure.
And okay. It sounds ridiculous, but okay, I can buy that.
Oh, it's basically Highland. It's daylight robbery. It's basically blocking the road, and it's just like the people crossing the border. It's pure daylight robbery with the assistance of everyone working in the legal system who are bloody corrupt.
So the fines they are giving the people that won't take the test at the airport, for instance.
Yes, it's just going into their pocket.
Just like doing this.
Sure.
It's business.
It's business.
You can say no to business.
Yeah.
It's all entrapment to contract. It's total 150% fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's fraud, but I didn't know the amount they want you to pay. That's how they did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got more information on this yesterday because I came into a nice little bit of fun yesterday with this envelope here.
Yeah.
Remember, police are self-employed within the police corporation. Very few people know that, or not many know that. So they're just out to earn a buck. Now, what we see here is a prepaid with franking pre-addressed envelope. So totally illegal, totally fraudulent. But this is great entrapment, of course, because most people think, oh, it's prepaid, so I'll just use it. And now inside there, they had a piece of paper saying, you know, admit cross here on the form. All forms are just used to entrap you, you know, tick here, tick here, tick here. And then when you tick anything, then you're basically creating a case. It's all fraud, it's all fraud. And all lawyers in Norway are committing fraud and high treason because they want you to be a personnummer. They want you to be a tax number and write your name and start a case and, you know, write your name in uppercase, blockbokstaver, and be, you know, judicious legal name fraud. So all lawyers are utterly criminal, 100% criminal, because they take away your right. The moment you take on a lawyer, you hand over your rights as a living man. Let's go back to the first picture. Here, mankind. When you are born, you have all rights by creator.
You forgot animals. And
animals, all living life in all known space, everywhere. It's all equal. There's nobody above or below you. All are equal and all have full rights. Mm-hmm. But what happened is when you accept to be a statsborger or a citizen or any other form of title, or your name in blockbokstaver, uppercase and so on, then you accept to have the rights of your fake corporation state run by psychopathic, generational, Satanist, pedophile, Freemasons. And then you have the rights they graciously allow you to have, accompanied by duties and obligations, the duties to pay tax and, you know, hand over your wages to them and, you know, all the rest of it, total fraud.
But above the government is all the corporate banks and those that own all the politicians and,
that's right,
and government servants.
Yeah, so it's all totally fraud. So always ask yourself, do you want to be here or do you want to be there? Never take on a lawyer because they're criminals. They're liars. They're just swindlers. They're swindlers. And the moment you accept a lawyer, they cannot help you at all because it's maritime law. It's all UCC. They're not going to do a thing for you. All they're going to do is rob you because they send you through a system where they know you're desperate and they're basically assisting your own bankruptcy. For example, they kidnap your children with their paedophile, Freemason and Rotary friends, who in Norway are obviously big time into human trafficking. And they agree in advance which of their Freemason and Rotary friends will be on their case, and they make your case last a long time, so you're emotionally and physically and economically bankrupt. That's the goal from the start. It's all agreed in advance, and in Norway the judges are working on lists about the outcome of your case before you even start, and the children are very often sold before you get into court because they're obviously they've got their own private half the government in Norway, politicians are owning these big, have big corporation shareholding in these corporations that are on the stock exchanges for foster homes and corporations with child trafficking and so on, so on, so on. I think everyone in Norway knows this.
Maybe 5%.
Okay.
Can I just ask just a quick question?
Yeah.
Do you mean that every single lawyer in Norway is more?
Yeah, sure. You must know, because you're not operating with real law. You're operating with maritime law, and why is they
I
using...
agree with you on that. I do agree with you on that, but I don't think all lawyers have been, have these agreements with the judges to
No, I mean, it's probably mostly men, because you've got to be a male. But it's known that unfortunately Norway and Sweden has the highest tetet, or if you like, number of Freemasons or secret society membership.
I know
the density of the population in the world, Norway and Sweden.
I know it's horrible to think about. It gives me nightmares, actually.
No, you should never ever study law. It's a criminal. Do not do it.
And I have to infiltrate the system, so.
Well, don't end up.
To destroy it, of course.
Yeah.
We need to have knowledge both from law.
Yeah.
I need to be
to compare about law of land. So we are in a transition from law of sea to law of land. Then we have to find the good, best tools. How to
agree totally. I think that we are in a transition, and I think that we know that people like Russell J. Gold, who's taken over the whole postal system, his plan is to turn it over to law of the land. Yeah, it'll be a slow transition. Yeah, I'm hoping that the entire
I'm totally
system...
on your side. I'm totally on this side, but
I think we will.
Yeah, that's right. It's Donald Trump, but it's Donald Trump.
Yeah, if we take the questions afterwards, please.
Yes.
So continue.
Just a point on the lawyer thing, Catherine. It's D. One thing we did with our case is we refused, because they tried to push us to have a lawyer. They would not send us the documents unless we had a lawyer. And we refused point blank to have a lawyer, because when you take on a lawyer, you actually deem yourself incapable. So you say, I'm not capable of defending myself.
No, not only that, you say that you're dead, you say you're a person.
Please, everyone, can Katrin finish her speak and then make all the questions afterwards and discussions. If not, she won't be finished.
But I just to chip in, Darlene, you did the right thing. Never, ever, ever take on a lawyer. You cannot do that in Norway, ever. Okay, so we go back here, samples of postal fraud. Yeah, back to this. Now, this is an envelope, a sample of an envelope, a prepaid envelope that the police use in Norway when they send you a little fine, an invitation or an order to a fine. They won't let you respond to that and tick off on a piece of paper, I'm guilty, I'm innocent, or whatever, and you send this back to them. Now, what I noticed on this was several very interesting things. First of all, this is with regards to something that has happened in Trøndelag, which is another state within the capital of Norway, Oslo here. Now, this is a completely different part of the country. Obviously, it's a corporation, Trøndelag Politidistrict, but it's addressed to this address here, 0098, right? Now, people who live in Norway probably know that this is supposedly an Oslo postcode. Now, a little bit of research on the internet yesterday, I spent several hours on this. I found out that 0081 is Oslo Kommune, but 0082 to 0101, which are supposedly Oslo postcodes, are missing. Now, they're not on posten.no, and I searched a bit around on Bing here and there. I found a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, and I looked at that and they were missing off there, but I searched with different methods on this Bing.no. And what I found out is that these missing numbers, 0082 to 0101, are not in Oslo at all. They're in different locations around the country. Now, not every single one seemed to be in use, but they were all over the country in different little locations. And what I suspect this is the way of these Freemason policemen to redirect fines or your paperwork that you're stupid enough to send back to them onward to basically local crime centers for Freemasonry, where I suspect they distribute or redistribute money stolen from you if you pay fines or, you know, so on. And also paperwork if you sign that piece of paper setting up a case, so that these documents that in these fraudulent prepaid envelopes end up in completely other districts of the country, probably in sort of a Freemasons lodge, where they ensure that the paperwork to start your case ends up, say, for example, this is pure presumption and guesswork, where they basically go through and set you up together with local lawyers and judges and, for example, police, because it's all mega corrupt. Now, we know that in Norway, they all work together, Freemasonry and the, it's the same worldwide, Freemasonry and particularly in Norway, it's the Rotary, working together to basically destroy the population, arranging kidnapping of your children and human trafficking and so on. So I suspect that what they're doing is using this kind of envelope to start up your case so they can do it in their private centres, even outside the police, probably in lodges, and then divide the winnings before they even start on your case. This is what I suspect. Why else would these numbers be totally missing when they're supposed to be Oslo numbers and they're not? So if anyone would like to spend a bit of time looking into that, I recommend that. That's what I found out yesterday. Why should a so-called case to Trøndelag be redirected to Oslo and then out again? Stinks, if you ask me. Money, 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 going back in their own hands. Yeah, everyone wants a share in the money, my husband's saying in the background here. So it's obviously going back to a money point where they just divide the money.
The taxes you pay are split between all the gangsters.
Yeah, all the money you pay is split between the gangsters and the lodgers. Okay, so the Postal Union, Universal Postal Union, for me is a very useful first line of defense because it doesn't involve any contact whatsoever. I don't need any good use of language. Vega is extremely good line of defense, but it's time, use lots of time, and it requires very good language and so on. So this is a way, is the ultimate no communication, no contact, no contract. Get it out of the way. And let's face it, we in Europe don't have the guns, unlike those in America who, you know, got guns. We've got no guns here. But if you send them on to UPU, they've got the guns. So that's why I think this is really good and effective. So this is original, the most quickest, easier line of defense. This is in German, as you can see, and this is just a label anyone can make at home. Print it out in red ink with a red box, and it basically says, I've got the English translation on the next page, but it says going back without dishonor to the chap off or whatever, offering back to the sender, and delivery has got to be according to UPU, set up in 1874, World Postal Union, da-di-da-di-da, referred to article da-di-da-di-da, and all this, and it just, we don't need to bother to look into that. We don't need to bother to translate it. Let them do the dirty work. I don't think we really have to translate anything because put the work on them. This is obviously the website address for the UPU. And this is an additional whammer for those in Europe. It could be quite useful to use. This basically says you've also got to follow the Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force. In other words, the American Protectorate, but that's worldwide with the UPU. So you could always leave that there. That's the old Eastern Germany was divided between the American Protectorate and the Russian Protectorate. This is basically the equivalent of chef in Putin. So that's a double whammy if you live in Germany for protection. Or you can simply write in red ink. I remember when I was a kid, I was just told when I was young in England, where we still learned about common law at school, that just if it wasn't relevant, you just crossed out on the envelope, no contract. You just wrote no contract. You just put it back in the post box. That's what people did when I was young, no contract, and just sent it back. But this is a translation of the German sticker, if you like. You can write this and put it simply back in the envelope, or you can write no contract, return it. And this is more sort of UCC, no contract, none and void, using the sort of blue ink of the maritime UCC. This, some of our acquaintances are using this because they can't be bothered to send stuff to UPU with stamps. They think it's a bit too much work. And it works. They don't hear anything back, but the perpetrators, trespassers, and those giving you fines probably don't get fined, but you won't get any more letters from the local council or people and so on. So that's one method. Otherwise, there's this full method here that we're doing together with some other people. And this is the full recipe that is given on the internet in German. And I've downloaded the pack. You can also download it yourself. I've written a little introduction about how to do this in English. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, because the UPU is worldwide. Every country in the world has got to follow what the UPU decide. And that's for post, for commerce, and rules of contracting. And they're ultimately following that. The content of this letter follows common law or law of the land, because you're not allowed to contract with the living unless we, the living, have initiated an interest and a postal order. If we have not placed the order is unlawful, fraud, or it's just basically criminal. So in this pack here, that is German for stamps. That's how much you need to post if you're sending it to Switzerland. If you're in Germany, that's the cost. So you can forget about that. What is important here is that if you send it to Switzerland, this is the layout of the envelope you should send to Switzerland. It should be identical to this. This is basically registered posts in Germany. What we have done is actually ordered directly from Deutsches Post our own kit for registered post. So we get all these labels ourselves. We don't have to pay for them by the post office. We're just doing it from home. And then you fill out this address. This is all military code. Don't ask me what it is, but you just put that in there and they know what it is. It's got to be black. That's got to be black. And this is the stamps, and you registered post, and this has got to be filled out correctly. And what we have done is basically do the UPU to ensure that the ones who sent you the fraudulent post and so on get a whopping fine. And to that, what we have done is sent the letter onward inside a large envelope here, together with a standard letter that comes in the pack that is on the website in German I showed you before, and we can look at later on. There's two sample letters. One is to send to Switzerland, saying in German, we suspect the attached envelope to be postal fraud. And then you get them, do all the investigations. You leave it all up to them to send all the fines on multiple levels and multiple locations. You do nothing. What we also did, and then there's a second letter that goes to the criminal or the corporation, or the criminals in that corporation and the corporation that sent you the fine notification, again with this standard letter in German. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, because it's going to Switzerland, so don't bother to translate. They don't know what it is. Don't answer the phone, let them just find out. They'll just be contacted anyhow worldwide. So and then they get, oh shit, they can start wetting their knickers or whatever, because they received this registered post that they've been basically suspect. We suspect you of postal fraud. Yeah, that's what the standard letters say in German. Now, I did do a kind of Google Translate on this, but I don't even want to attempt to try and correct how this should be written in English, because if it's all maritime codes and da-di-da-di-da, I'm not interested in spending the time. I think it's going to Switzerland, they'll understand it, leave it to them. Why should we do the donkey work? That's my attitude now. So that's that. If you really want to go to the full Monty, you can also, as that German video explains, you can, in addition, do the UCC. You can also annul everything that was inside that letter or any other documents for that matter, using the, you can become your own Postmaster General. Now, there's lots of videos about how to do this on the internet. It's quite time consuming. I know there's one lady in the group here who knows a bit about this, might like to talk about it, I'm not sure. But it's about, we have a friend who's also doing this, who's basically bought the ink, the gold and the blue, and you can also do the thumbprint. It's the UCC route for proof of living man that you send to corporations. And this is instructions how to do it in German, quickly showing you an example how to do this. We have not done that. We've heard from other people that it's not necessary, because you just forward everything and let them do the donkey work. So, but if you want to, for example, make extra sure that nothing's followed up, for example, a gracious interview to attend a private corporation of a judge, you could maybe whack, do this procedure on both sides of the document the judge sends you to make sure the whole damn thing is annulled on both sides and can't go any further. And this is again how to do it. It is all lowercase and so on, proof of living man and woman and so on. That's just basically you take over the job as the Postmaster General. You null and void the entire document on both sides, and it explains what it is here. Yeah, everything in lowercase. So what I've got here is we did that. I could show samples of what we sent. I could get that up here, I think. I'm trying to create some samples of this and some sort of kits. I've got it in German, English, and Norwegian. What we actually sent. I think it was these ones. Now that was the letter we got. So we did first this, but the simple one, we just printed this out like that. We were told locally that all we had to do when we use this simple one, which just stops everything, but they don't get fined. So we wanted to ensure they got fined. You just had to make sure that this first line of address from the one who sent you the letter is visible. Then they get it back. So actually, I don't think we took pictures because we got so much assistance from other people doing this that we didn't bother to take pictures in the end. That was just, let's see what this is. Yeah, this is the letter, just out of interest, that we got sent. That they did it. That's also postal fraud. Now, we've been heard in Germany, they've got this thing called yellow envelopes. And what this is fraud. Oops. They're trying to send this so it looks really formal. They're doing all this fake fraudulent stuff, the entire legal world with the police. And it's all this Donald Duck, forms. to make it look official. It's all just a question of making things look real when they're not. And then what you sort of hear, the fraudulent sender, the council or the local state administration office delivered this, and when they delivered this, actually it was together with the parcel, and they put it on top of the parcel to avoid handing it over to us. They obviously knew what this was. So we received a parcel the same day, and they tried to, here they say it was delivered on this date, and that was the one who delivered it. Yeah, but we knew this was fraud because it was already rumours going that yellow envelopes is that the way they deliver fraud, so it looks extra official, but it's still fraud. So that's what we sent onward. We sent that onward. We opened it, and interesting enough here, on the back side, it wasn't correctly sealed. So actually I could open here and get everything out and then put it back in. And that was interesting because I've got two people from New York, Minette, and they sent me some information, I think Minette here, and some details in English where I haven't had time to look at it all in detail, but there's obviously some other sort of details where they look at the post with regards to, is it open post or closed post? Now that can mean so many things. Obviously open and closed post could have a financial meaning in accounts, you know, where they match up debit and credit. But open and closed post, I think in the case that I read, the information that they sent me, it was to do with how the envelope is closed or not. And they had an expression on the documentation they sent me, which said something like, you open at your own risk. In other words, post that is fraudulent, you open at your own risk. And if you open an envelope, it's basic invitation to contract. It's all highly fraudulent. But rather than go into those details, that this is as far as I've got now, and that's all I can really say. Has anyone got any questions? I'll start looking at these questions.
Catherine?
Hmm.
Hi, Catherine. It's Minette.
Oh. Hi.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. I was just wondering, with the kit or the pack that you ordered, I'm not sure how to get a hold of that.
Well, you haven't got to get hold of anything really. You just got to have, if I were you, make it a lot easier. I've heard that you can actually scan it and send it by email to the UPU. So I've just updated my kit that I sent you in English.
Oh.
I can send you the original here, where it's all in German. At the bottom of this page in German, it gives you two email addresses for the UPU. One is info@UPU Switzerland, whatever. And the other one is called standards at UPU. Now, the standards is obviously what is of interest here, because everything that doesn't follow their standard is fraudulent. And there is some feedback that I've had from someone in Norway that they might actually not be forwarding letters to the UPU because they recognize that Norway is so criminal and so key for the New World Order because of the huge natural resources there, that it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if letters addressed to the UPU from Norway do not get through at all. So I'm actually very interested in people in Norway trying to get a bit of information on this and let me know. And I suspect that everyone should just start emailing a copy of what they send the UPU direct by email, scan it, because then it will get through, because I suspect the Norwegian Post will arrest it.
Yeah, but they should do both.
Do both, because then you get proof.
I think that I'd like to send it registered, just to have it go through the mail, and maybe you consider that. But what I'm saying is that if that's just a registered mail ticket, it's the two letters that you talked about, the whatever letters.
Standard letters.
Yeah, I don't have those letters.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I think I sent to them, but they're in Germany. I'll have to make it clearer, but I'll send them again. My husband was just trying to say something here in the background. Ben, what were you trying to say? Can you come here so people can hear you?
I'm just reminding Catherine that if you're going to send an email, you have to send the original also, because they need to see the actual letter to make it valid.
That makes
So,
sense.
yes, you have to send both of them, but you can send the other one just to tell them this letter is on the way. If it's not coming, the government has stolen it.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes.
Then you can really go after them and say, where is this letter? It's been sent.
Also, with the email, you're not using a stamp.
No,
Yeah, correct.
No,
And,
that's just to inform them that the letter is coming.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right, I'm just gonna say it quickly. With the electricity company.
Sorry, Mats, you have to make the signal and reaction when you want to be in the queue. Vitaly, he had put his hand up very early, and we have to have an order in this meeting. Everybody is very enthusiastic. So I will give Vitaly, you are the first on the list, and everybody else has to make the reaction to have up their hands about questions to Catherine. Okay.
Yes, Catherine, thank you so much. It really makes a lot of sense, and we would like, if it would be possible, that you share that information, maybe link or by email. But what I want to show you as well, guys, here's a letter, and Catherine, you want to have a look as well?
Yeah, it's total fraud.
Yeah, but what is interesting, the bank that is registered here, does not exist even in Brønnøysund register.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me at all.
No responsibility.
Could you imagine? And now they put in my name as well in capital. They never, this bank never written the name like this, but now they put in my surname, they put in comma, and they put in my name.
Yes. Is it all in uppercase?
Uppercase with comma, but before they used to write it Vitaly Hachenko in uppercase. Now is Hachenko, comma, Vitaly.
Oh yeah, I know what that is. That is, they've got like, it's just a new straw man they've made just to make more money.
That's right. You know why they made it a new straw man? Because I have sent them a letter, and this letter was basically advised to do by UR-Law or by Mark Christopher. So here I told them that I would like to perform any obligation that I might lawfully have with them, but I gave them condition to prove that I have a contract with them. They have sent to me only electronic papers that I have a contract with them.
Totally invalid.
Yeah, totally invalid.
Signed it, but the one thing what's happened that shortly, that bank was closed. And
it was closed.
Yeah, it was closed. After I have sent that letter, I don't know what caused that closure, but it was removed from Brønnøysund register. And it's no longer exists there, but they still sending me invoices. I have tried even to log into the internet bank just to see what is outstanding there. With my personal number, I can't get it in. It says, it's not exist, or it comes as an error.
It sounds to me just like total fraud. They're making companies up and then they're just trying to money launder on your name. Now, I've had, before I left Norway, for example, I had an invoice for a road toll up in North Norway when in the winter, when my car was actually snowed down for 3 months and completely unused in Vestby in South Norway. Yet I got an invoice for a toll up in North Norway. And I'm still receiving regularly, 3.5 years later, to my email address, totally fraudulent emails from Posten.no, the Norwegian Post, saying, "Oh, we're delivering a package to you today." And it's like, it's total, it's just money laundering, total, utterly money laundering. So I don't know if you've ever had any money in that bank. I never even heard that. Did they just send you that letter with you never having any account?
No, well, because I have tried to log in.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, if I can't log in into your bank online banking, so I would like to receive something in the post, because they just keep sending me text messages, a reminder, gentle reminder, gentle reminder. You know,
Yeah, all it is, it's to money launder on your name every time they send a letter out. Every time they send a letter, it's money laundering. It's just send it off to UPU.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I really
Absolutely.
want to, you know.
How many have you got? How many letters have you got?
This time today.
This
It could be
just
up to, I mean, if it's after 10,000, then it's like 100,000, then 500,000. Just collect them, put them into one envelope and get rid of them.
Yeah, well, I would like to send it to the UPU so that they actually will tickle them a little bit.
Oh,
so they
yeah, absolutely. That sounds fantastic. Just go for it. I also recommend that anyone, for example, who has old correspondence lying around, I've been thinking about this a bit this week, given that things are so extreme in Norway. So many people have, had their children kidnapped and so not even killed by the Norwegian regime. Everything goes back to a first letter, which was the entrapment, the Barnebarn letter and so on. If anyone's got old letters knocking around, I would just send them off to the UPU, because we know that all these letters we know that all documentation in Norway is fraudulent. Now, before I left Norway, I spent a long time looking at, how to recognize unlawful documents. But one of the first things I recognized when I moved to Norway many years ago, over 20 years ago, was that all the documents in Norway were totally fraudulent, and that the legal system was totally fraudulent. They had no valid courts. They had no, they had no recordings in court. It was all forbidden. Sound and video, and the stenographers, it's called in English, they had these little machines where people used to write down everything in the courts. It didn't exist. And one of my first observations when I moved to Norway was that many men were committing suicide because their children were kidnapped, obviously, by the state. And I thought, what the hell's going on here? That was the start of my awakening process in Norway. I realized that the whole legal system in Norway, the whole law is just totally utter fraud, even that was about 25 years ago. So just, go for it. Send it to UPU.
Mange må gjøre det, slik at vi får erfaringskompetanse. Kjempebra, Vitalia og Grace. Nei, og til Linn. Vær så god, Wenche.
Yeah, I can see in the comments that Anne Tore, she says that letters going to UPU is being confiscated.
Good. That's great that we got that feedback. That's what I suspected already.
That's why we send the email.
That's why we should send by email.
When you send the email to warn that is coming.
Yeah, so we've
it's not coming confiscated. Then they will ask for it. It's a letter.
Yeah, so I'll provide the emails.
Yeah, if you take a look at the chat, you can see her comments.
Okay, I'll have a look at the chat now.
There's a lot of comments. Wenche, are you finished?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're welcome. And then Vegard, you're welcome.
Yes, hello, Common Law. This was an amazing speech you had. It's fantastic. I was thinking about asking a question about some letters that they have sent me. I've seen it 2 times now. It is the QR code that follows the document. And I wonder if you have a comment on what that QR code really is.
Which document are you thinking of now? On the envelope?
Yeah, on the envelope. And it's also inside on the document itself, I believe. It was that on a court case that it's also here on the. It's both on the envelope and it is on the document itself.
It's a new system. I didn't see it before. QR code. It's very interesting. They are trying to do everything connected to us personally from
Okay.
the jurisdiction.
Can you share a picture of that so I can see that?
If I can send a picture.
Yeah, or
something.
just share it on the screen here.
Yeah, I can make a picture of it, and I can just. I'm trying to. Yeah. This is probably the best I can.
Vega,
Yeah.
you tried it to scan it with your QR scan.
No.
Try to do that, because sometimes it will pop up information. It will explain you straight away what it is, because it can be a link to the website or something else. So it will give you an idea what it is.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking about trying it, but I wasn't sure what it was. So, but I will try that. And I can also make a picture of it so you can all see it. I can just, yeah, so you can see it. That's perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Then Minette and Mina, you're welcome. It's
Thank you.
nice if you can have a video on.
Sorry, just voice. But thank you again here. I would like to ask Catherine, when you show the envelope, it seems like there's some information where the addressee usually is. There's some numbers and information there that's not the addressee. So I'm wondering what exactly that information is there.
I don't know, to be honest. All I know is that it works. The address that goes to Switzerland,
Okay.
I'm sure it's military codes. I've also, I'm still waiting from feedback from a contact who's got military background, who's lived over 20 years in Germany to check that. I haven't, but I'm still waiting on that.
Very good.
If you know anyone in the military who's good, just try and find out direct.
I will. I'll get on that. But so I'm getting clearer now. Just copy that envelope exactly as that, the way it is.
Yeah.
And just, if you do send it by registered mail, put your label on there. And
yeah, the label is just the registered post label.
okay.
Let me have a look at there was something you had to tick off there.
Right, I saw that part. There was 2 X's though. There was a blue and then there was something that was already checked, X'd
That's
off.
right. One was already checked off. That was the one that's automatically checked off in German from the German post. And then you had to check off one more, or an English cross off.
Okay, so one should only be checked off.
No, one's automatically checked off in the German registry, but I need to have a look at that actually. The original. Let me see if I can just keep talking. I'll try and dig it up.
The other question that I had was, you had mentioned something about getting threats. I wasn't clear exactly what that was about.
Well, we sent a letter that was just trying to frighten us, and we had to do this, this, and this, and this, and this before this and this date. Building project. They said, oh, we hadn't applied for that building project. We hadn't done this, we hadn't done that, and we hadn't measured it to this number. You know, they wanted to come onto our private property and basically start to earn money. They just wanted to get to it's a corporation. They just want to earn money because they all work together. It's the same recipe as the Norwegian, child kidnapping. They all work together to earn money so they can all sit together and all get, 10% each or whatever.
So the threat is just from a corporation is basically.
Yeah, sure. It's a local corporation like the state of Seattle or whatever, building department. Yeah, something like that. That's what it was, literally, just a local state building department wanting to earn some money just because of some village gossipers. We live in old East Germany, and our house is basically, we found out to our horrors, the old Stasi headquarters of the village, and there's a lot of old Stasi people. It's all the same. It's always Freemasonry, whether it's Nazis, communists, or, it's just generational Freemasonry families. So they just wanted to earn some money.
Understood. Thank you very much. So if you could just share about whatever you were looking up.
Yeah, I'll just try and find it now. Hang on a sec. Just talk between yourselves.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I can go through this list in the chat room. Vivian in South, Vivian Sir, she is invited for Christmas table 28th of November in Soria Moria Hotel. It would be great. I would love to. I will try to find some tickets and come there. So if more people are around Soria Moria, it would be great to have a Christmas meeting, 28th of November. Send a message to Vivian, vinvik@live.com, please. And it's very good with Lynn. She is studying the law of sea, and it's extremely important this time that we have people studying juridication, both law of sea and law of land, because we need to find some good tools for this transition, silent transition to law of land, where we should be in the future. Yvonne, she is asking about the testing, and now it seems that all Europe will open, so there won't be any need for testing.
Wow, that's great.
And I really support Donald Trump. He have a slogan: keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And this is the way he went into this organization with Illuminati. He were up to 33rd degree, so he understood and understands all their organization. But when they are on this level, I have understood that it's the golden eagle, and they have to choose. Either they are for service for self, for their own organization, family and clan and cabal and so on, or they go to be service for humanity. And he had told that he is in service for humanity. And it's very important that you find local friends in your area and start up with the Norwegian way of making we the people locally, because this has to be a grassroots movement. We have to take the power back to the people. We have to do it where we are living and want to live in the future, because then we can cooperate together and become much stronger. It's not possible to only stand alone, and alone we are very weak, but together we are much, much stronger. And today it was in English. We also had in English yesterday, because then we had John Smith with us. And at Rumble, I uploaded a video from yesterday. So I will try to find it and put the link for you. Mats had mentioned about postmasters. Yes, we have many postmasters around to listen to. Mark Christopher is one, Jay Russell is one, and we have to learn about this Postal Union, because this might be one of the most important tools. We also have had every Tuesday about OPPT, One People's Public Trust, and how to make your affidavit. And we have to use all the tools we come by, because then we have stronger knowledge, and we don't know which key will go straight through with the chairman in the community, but we have to try our best, because all information is small drops into their skin, and then suddenly one day they will also wake up. Then I give the next word to Grace. You're welcome.
Hi. In fact, I just have a suggestion. I don't have a question, because I was thinking what I find very interesting with the work we are doing, and also with the community that we are building in helping each other when we have challenges, is to gain information and education. And I find the case of Vitaly and G very interesting. So I wanted to suggest if we could have a time where they could come and explain to us step by step what they have been doing, because I know Vitaly and Julian, they have a bank of information. And I think we are very lucky to have we are very lucky that they were unlucky in the border because but with this situation, they have been gaining a lot of information. So this is just a suggestion. If we could have a moment like this where they could lecture a little bit for a moment and explain us step by step what they have been doing, all the tips, but of course they have to agree to it. So I would like to know if they would like to go for something like that.
It's
I think that's
very
a great idea.
Yes, like a receipt. And I asked them, maybe they should make a small booklet, a kind of receipt for other people to go through it, because the same principles that they have used now with crossing the border, it can be copied to any other circumstances when you're meeting this public, the police, the lawyers, and so on. So it's this erfaringskompetanse, this experience by doing, doing by learning, and learning by doing, because we need it really now, and we need to have good samples of people really doing it, not only talking about it. It's too many talkers, too few doers. We need more doers. Thank you, Grace. Then I give the next word to Vitaly, if somebody more. Hvis det flere som vil ha ordet, så må dere gi et signal under reactions. You're welcome, Vitaly.
Thank you, Grace. It was just a thought that was pondering in my head. And a couple of days I was thinking about it, of how to make it practical. And what comes to me is to create a workshop where we all who actually wants to come together. Because one thing, we have a meeting here and we have a lot of information, we have a lot of tools, but my thinking here is to make it practical, where people come together, we pull all the information, all the tools that we have, we put it on the table, and we help each other to move it forward. And then we can plan our next action as well. So because we need to have a strategy in place of how we're using these tools and where we're moving. So clear vision of where the group is moving and where the complete free movement or freedom movement is heading to. Because obviously, you know what, if the system collapses, what comes after the system? What we have in place in order to have order? Because obviously you don't want a chaos or create chaos, because obviously, even though these fraudulent buggers, they have actually, they have their system in place in order how to control. But we also need to think about the system in place of how, you know, we have freedom running and people working for the freedom and living freedom. So I know this Kusara Jisara, that they have already system in place, but not many people know about it, and not many people as well know how to establish it. But I think workshop for all of us would be perfect. If we can arrange somewhere, a camping place or somewhere in a hotel, I don't know, somewhere on a property, it would be perfect.
I would like to add that let us not make it that difficult, because we live in a very small place and a workshop might be very difficult. I was just thinking about something like coming here and explaining to us, but the workshop with all together meeting might be challenging. But thank you.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
invite all of you up to Sandnesfjord camping, and now it's very cheap tickets to Tromsø, and I sent some messages out. And the weekend 21st to 24th, it would be great, and we could have some training, and we could meet, and then in November we could meet in Oslo with this Christmas party and had a long weekend to do some training and to learn more, because we have to come together, because then with training, exploring, and people that want to make small books or workshops, whatever, that we really can meet, and not only with webinars, because we learned yesterday suddenly all the social channels were down, but we have to keep the links and relation we have now developed during these meetings. So if everybody can make their telephone number and email and place they are from and where they want to work as contact person, please write it in the chat under here. You were ready, Vitaly?
Now, I was thinking what you were saying, Vivi, is very paramount in the sense of we need more doers and less talkers. And that's the decision we made when we were crossing the borders. It was not by accident. We actually deliberately knew before going that we were going to make our stand and we were going to do that. So before we even left Norway, we knew what the challenge was going to be coming back, and we knew that we were willing to take that challenge and make the stand. So it wasn't unfortunate accident that happened. It was actually a deliberate, we are now going to face the giant and take the giant down. Thankfully, with the help of yourself and some other people in the group, you know, we have managed to do that as a whole group. And I think the more cases that are won, the better, you know, for the group to propel forward. So more doers and less talkers. Catherine, I think what we've been doing in exchanging emails and ideas, that is like a little workshop in itself. And that has been working very well, where we're sharing experiences and understanding as we're learning in the process. We're still in the process of learning, but we're sharing ideas, sharing information, and coming up with, you know, good set plans. And I think that is a mini workshops on an email level, and has really worked out really well, and hence how we actually tackled the final hurdle with the police. And we went the UPU channel way, as well as the affidavit way. We took both channels, and you know, the UPU, that was Catherine's suggestion, and who brought it up first, and we looked into it. And also we had some understanding because of Mark Christopher, sorry. So I think when we put all those ideas together and put them into action, then we see results, then we can share with each other. So I think it has worked out really well so far. And this is something that is, you know, happy to share. And, you know, Catherine has shared a wealth of information there with the UPU, and we continue to take that channel, that view, isn't it? We're going to use that channel as well as the affidavit. So OPPT, we've been talking with Sigmund and Stian and put that into action. So we're tired of sitting on the sideline. We're actually going to go forward, no stopping now, and willing to take everyone who's willing to come with and not sit on the sidelines.
Exactly.
So
we need such groups as you are now promoting in Narøysund. Narøysund, Folkelag, yes. And really, we will help each other, everyone that want to make the local Folkelag, because we have to start ourselves. We can't sit and wait. We have to do something. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Then Mats, you're welcome. Mats,
Yeah, hello. I'm a little bit confused.
if you have a video, we would like to see.
I'm on my computer right now. Yeah, you was it Catherine mentioned about something not coming forward, like being deleted or something like mail?
We've got feedback from Anna Toril that the letters that have been sent to UPU from Norway before have been blocked by the Central Post Office of Norway, which
Okay.
does not surprise me whatsoever.
No.
So I've added now in the chat area all documents, including 2 emails to the UPU that I found after searching. One is information at the UPU and the other one is called standards. Obviously standards means don't meet the standards is what we need to think. So obviously that's fraud department, if you like.
Okay. All right.
So I would just take pictures of the envelopes, and if you've got old letters that initiated kidnapping of children and so on, just send, because we know that no document in Norway whatsoever is lawful.
No, but I just wanted to, I'm not sure if that has any meaning, what happened to me, but the electricity company, they forward to some bills to me about measuring the electricity, and also they turned my power off.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. But I went inside the, what is it, small claims court.
Do they have small claims court in Norway?
Yeah, it's like private people. They show up like old people or something.
That's right. But what's it called? Can you tell me what it's called?
Forliksrådet.
Oh, that's Forliksrådet, is it? Okay, fine.
Yeah. So we went in there, and what happened is that I think I sent too much, right? I sent the military, the affidavit, the courtesy notice, and the AV Barna, the affidavit for the AV Barna as well. But the thing is that I didn't know I have to sign all of those, because I thought they had to sign it, but I sent too much of it. And then I also said, this will be in the recommended letter directly to you that's coming to you. And nobody has picked up the recommended letter after that. And I sent it to the Forliksrådet, to the police, to Svea, to Glittre, which is the electric company. And I also sent it to my electrical supplier, right? And I haven't heard anything back from the Forliksrådet after that. And when I turned up in the Forliksrådet, all I said was like, where is the contract? And then they started attacking Svea Finans, and I could have pretty much just left that place.
That's fantastic, and that's what I thought. I'm really glad to hear that, because I was wondering like mad if the small claims court idea existed in Norway, but obviously it does. I just didn't know that it had that name. Forget courts and forget lawyers. I would just köra på, men med Forliksrådet. Press claims. Press claims.
And then after the Forliksrådet, I think because of the papers I sent in, and they were trying to push hard because of the ACER agreement, they want to install the smart meter. And I was like, well, there's no contract. There's no reason to replace my meter because it's going to be exactly the same as the old one. But no, this one has a measure, but it's not going to be installed. I'm going to uninstall that as soon as you install that into my house, because it's violating my private life pretty much. And a lot of more reasons, of course. Don't want to pay electricity per hour.
No.
And what happened is that Glittre, the electricity company, they rented, or they forwarded the job to turn my power off to another company. And I rang them. I sent them emails, everything. Of course, I threatened with lawsuit or like report them to police. I knew that was like a small thing, but I think I sent an affidavit and also said that the newspaper was going to be there. So they're like, yeah, okay, we are going to be there around 2 to 4 o'clock. But what happened is that they were waiting around the corner. So when I drove my kids to kindergarten, they travel over there to turn the power off. So I raced home and then I found them in the pole. So they turned the power off in another place that I didn't know about. So I was like, oh, well, great. Now you have broken the law. So it's like, you know, either try to resist and get, you know, this to talk, because all I'm doing is trying to make a podcast and streaming, because I'm going to put everything that they say onto the public. Since they are a company and since a lawful, it doesn't matter what they say because I can do that. Right.
Absolutely. I think the key thing here is to take the initiation of the unlawful actions, and I would take it there and just forward it. I would just forward it to UPU, wouldn't you? The very first.
Absolutely, and because you're
cut the dragon off at the head, because it all forms where they contract you of you know, interaction with the living man from corporation is unlawful.
Yeah, because you are above these people. They have no right to contract with you without your written permission.
Yeah, and Vivian knows about this because the PST turned up at my door 1 year ago, and if I knew the stuff I knew now, I would have been able to stop them. But the thing is that what they came to my house to do was like, okay, whatever. They wanted to delete a video on my phone because the PST came home to my house. They came to my house, and they didn't show any ID or anything, right? One of them did, but he blocked off a lot of stuff. And I filmed everything, and he wanted that not filmed. And I was like, well, goodbye then. And I just closed the door, and that was that. Yeah. And then I put it on the website we had, which was Snowball. And I said, oh my God, is this Breivik people, you know, and all that stuff. And then the police turned on the door. It's like, you have to delete this. This is the paper from the court or something. And I have the picture of the paper that the police represented. I was like, can I have this paper? No, you cannot have this paper. This, you can read it, and then we take it.
Yeah, it's all fraud. You know?
It's just fraud.
Yeah. So, like, I want to be in the action, right? But of course, when the electricity was turned off, I had to like, yeah, okay, install the meter, whatever. I'm just gonna unplug the thing because I have kids here and family. I don't want to put them in the fight. The fight I'm doing. I can do the fight out there, but yeah, not in the house. So I was just thinking, a lot of the stuff we say in the video, in the Zoom meeting, and all the people I meet in the Zoom meeting, I don't seem to meet them in the Telegram group. Is there another group where people in here are, or?
Yes, it's of course Initiate Q-Nesara Norge.
Yeah, but it's like I'm only on Telegram now because I kind of left Facebook, and I'm like, where is all the information?
This information about common law of court, it's only on Zoom. So then we didn't share all the videos we have had since January, and we didn't make any homepage yet about Initiate Q-Nesara Norge, and Facebook deleted a lot of all my posts.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yes, in 19th of January, and it had been a heck of a work since 2004. So I really am so angry with them. And now they took me down again, 23rd of last month, and I should come up 23rd last month, but then they put me down again. So they are really after me. I don't know why. I'm not a dangerous woman. I'm only a living woman, but maybe it's very dangerous for them. Snowball. No, I'm sorry, I didn't take any backup. So it's closed. So I have
these. You can buy these.
Yeah,
but these will make backups.
Yeah, I will be more clever with the computers.
Maybe Vega could make backups. Someone who's got good technical skills.
Yeah,
can assist you, because I think you need some assistance.
Yeah, but I'm only doing it, and if it's gone, then it's gone. But it is there somewhere, and it will come back to me when the time is right. About the hashtag Snowball, we started, and Mats was very eager with it. We marked all good cases that were criminal cases where human rights were når de hadde brutt menneskerettighetene. Every illegal action against any living women and men was marked with hashtag snøball. We should take it up again because then it's very easy in Twitter to hashtag, for instance, barnevern, for instance, UPU, and so it's easier to find people that are really engaged in these cases. But we were not so clever the last 1 year about it, but maybe we should take it up again.
Yeah, we could, yeah. It's just that if I'm gonna start streaming soon because I'm making the studio now, and I'm gonna do interviews and open stuff in the street and stuff like that. So it's like I'm doing that. So it's just so nice to have some people that are really good with the, with the text and paper, the black and white. That's not really my strength, So, I mean, you remember when I showed up with the eggs for 10,000 kroners outside of the,
Yeah.
we were stopped by the police and everything, right?
Yeah. You are a real strong man. Yes, we need actions, and Mats, he can make action without any doubt.
I think maybe Bjørn here should make some comments about Grunnloven, Norway's so-called constitution, AMK, because it's not in use, is it?
Nei, den norske grunnloven, den har vært parkert helt siden Bilberg-gruppen ble opprettet. Den helt ute av bruk. I det hele tatt, de bruker bare deres eget lovverk som heter vi selvoppnevnte herskere, og vi gjør som vi vil, og hvis ikke det passer det, så dreper vi det og plyndrer det flate. Så enkelt det loven deres. Men det hadde vært fint, Vivian, om du kunne legge ut adressen til hvor du legger ut videoene, disse Zoom-videoene, så at vi kan dra dem ned, for at jeg har utstyr til å ta dem ned til datamaskinen min. Fra Rumble og BitChute.
Ja, hvis det noen som har lyst til å gå gjennom det her og har tid til det, så det enormt mye skikkelig bra foredrag, det skikkelig bra innlegg, det gode spørsmål, og folk har vært så engasjert. Men jeg ville liksom ikke bare legge det ut, fordi at det kan være folk som har vært med på det her, som ikke ønsker at deres navn og bilde og spørsmål skal komme frem. Men å få klippet det til at bare de gode foredragene og de gode innleggene, at de blir klippet, sånn at vi veldig forsiktige på det her med personvern. Fordi at vi vet at vi lever i en farlig tid. Det mange som utsatt, det mange som angrepet, det mange som brukt all type hersketeknikker imot dem. Og jeg har vært en av dem, men jeg står i det, og jeg skal stå i det til siste sekund. Så om noe skjer med meg, så det ikke noe naturlig. Det 100% sikkert. Jeg skal leve til jeg blir 150 år. For det som skjer nå, det det paradigmeskiftet som vi alle har ventet på. Og i går så sendte jeg inn søknad om medbed til Norge. Og 7 plasser som første start. Og det som jeg vet det 180 plasser som vil ha medbed. Og vi skal klare å få det til. Og jeg har jo holdt på nå i 2,5 år med Healy, som sånn en mini-medbed. Og det faktisk den som har hjulpet meg til å få den erfaringen, fordi at det så svært det som kommer. Og jeg ber alle sammen på dere få tak i en liten Healy, sånn at dere får egen erfaring til hvordan det fungerer. For folk tror ikke det sant. Men frekvenser og vibrasjoner i balanse og hjelpe kroppen psykisk, fysisk og sjela til å komme i balanse, det den rette veien. Og da Big Tech ute av hele deres spill. For dem skal vi ikke ha med oss inn i fremtiden i det hele tatt. Og vi skal ha lokale energikraftverk som vi skal eie. Det skal være en bo- og driveplikt nærmest, som det heter innenfor landbruket. Du skal bo der som energien forbrukes, og du skal bo også der maten produseres. Vi nødt til å tenke ressursbasert økonomi, lokale, trygge samfunn, der vi skal tenke på en helt annen måte enn det sentraliserte globale systemet som har holdt oss i slaveri i 26 000 år. Og det det som min kamp, og er så glad hver dag jeg ser at det er så mange flere som begynner å våkne og vil engasjere seg. For vi er overloadet av informasjon i denne tida. Vi leter etter gode verktøy som vi kan føle oss trygge med å jobbe med. Og jeg sier det sånn at vi er akkurat som de første krigerne. Vi har med oss spade og ljå og kuler og krutt, men alle har forskjellige verktøy som de føler de mestrer godt. Og i dag så har vi fått UPU som enda et godt verktøy. Tidligere så har vi gjennomgått OPPT og Affidavit. Common Law Court er jo ett av flere verktøy for å kunne gå på denne brede veien. Og i Sverige så har de LLC som også er en måte å gjøre det på. Og vi er ikke på noen måte konkurrenter til hverandre, men vi leter etter gode verktøy som kan være med å samle lokale folkelag til å komme i gang. På tvers av fagmiljø, på tvers av generasjoner og kulturer, for det at vi skal leve i lag i fremtiden. Det har her ingenting med sentralisert parlamentarisme å gjøre. Det her er direkte folkestyre av levende kvinner og menn.
I'd just like to say a bit in English for the couple and the
Okay,
people from
sorry.
New York listening. Don't worry, they're talking a bit about, Viviana's talking about the need to move forward, about the med beds and, you know, create new communities and, and parliamentarism, how it's fraudulent. I just wanted to point out again to everyone in Norway and listening in America, obviously parliamentarism is fraud, and all so-called, the entire legal society is fraud. It's really important that everyone knows that all the so-called legal society, everything to do with legalese, all lawyers, etc., is all fraud and has nothing to do with the living man and woman. It's corporations, and it's basically nothing to do with us whatsoever. And I think it's just important to remember that, because if you take on a lawyer, you lose your rights as living man. So where do you want to be? Do you want to be under basically a paedophile, generational Satanist, Freemason politician who sits writing at home laws that suit his own pocket? Or do you want to have all your rights as living man and women? And constitutions are a con, because every word that starts with con is exactly what the word says in English. It's a con, it's a swindle, it's artificial, it's a construct, it's fraudulent. Constitutions, no matter how much the people in America may love their constitution, is written by Freemasonry to suit their pockets, their power, their control, and to plunder them. It's a document written by them, it's not written by us, it's top down, not bottom up. And it's got a few good paragraphs in there allowing you to keep guns and so on, but it's not written by us. It's all Freemasonries. We have to get rid of all of this basically Freemasonry control system with the fake constitutions, and too many people believe in the constitutions. But I think you can say a bit about that.
Well, the most important to think about is, as a living man or a living woman, you are above every governmental structure, every corporation, everything else. So you are the head of the planet, like everyone else.
Exactly.
So never forget that you decide over you. No one but you decide over you, ever, except when you do a crime, commit a crime or things like that. If you killed someone, then you lose your right. It's that simple. If you steal, you lose your right, but they have to be proven. So just keep in mind that all these things that we have talked about today are tools, but the most important thing, you are king and queen in your own life, and no one can touch you unless you commit a crime. It's that simple.
Yeah, we're all equal, and we have today this fake fraudulent legal system where other people think that they have a right to decide and judge us just because they put on a damn wig or a black robe or a fancy suit, and
it's carnival.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I will never ever accept anyone trying to put a jurisdiction over me. Never.
No.
Not over my dead body.
We're equal in the eye of the Creator. Remember?
Yeah.
So that's
Yes, thank you. Thank you. There were a lot of questions in the group. Mats, were you finished? Yeah, I can't hear any. Is there some questions in the line? There were so many comments that it was, is there something that we missed? Yes, Inge-Lise, you're welcome.
It's not missing anything, but I have had not been following so much UPPT meetings, mostly common law court. And this UPU, I heard little about it before, but it was a huge amount of information today. So thank you very much, Katrina.
You're welcome. Vitaly, you put your hand up.
Yeah, just a little bit to add to what Catherine and her husband. Sorry, I don't know his name.
Björn.
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 Excellent. Yeah, what I just want to say basically that you know, this world of fiction that is right now in real, or not really, but everybody is experiencing, is need to be taken down. So, and when you will figure it out where the fiction is in play, and you as a living man and woman stand on your creator's given right, because you know, even to understand what is crime, because for somebody say, you know what, okay, who decides where the crime is?
A crime is very simple. You don't steal, you don't kill, you don't destroy other people's property. You see, you respect. It's just simple. That's the crimes.
Yeah, so that goes back exactly at that hierarchy was showing, creator on the top, then mankind. So as long as we respect the creator's dominion and in the reality of a present, because present is what we have. And today we actually decide what our future will be. So when we in our mind leave the fiction world and basically create the reality of a living man and woman, you know, your faith, your frequency will be completely on different level. Those junkies and monopoly on the big scale doesn't bother you anymore. But now it's basically how to make it real of the natural law in our life.
That's right.
So
if everyone tried to make paradise in their own life, where they live in their own land and all that, then we will eventually create paradise on earth. One family, one place at a time.
I just want to encourage that each and everybody of you are carriers of light. And
That's
remember, where the light shines, darkness have no place. Even though the small fly that it is, it can light up a dark room. And that's what it takes. So do not be afraid to take a first step. Do not be afraid to take it, because you know what, you create in your reality and you taking down the fiction world in your own world.
I think it's more simply put that coming into this way of thinking and lifestyle, you actually regain and take back your true identity.
Yeah, you do that.
Exactly.
I think one thing that I think John Smith talked about an early meeting is creating communities under common law, if like, or law of the land. And I think that to me is a very attractive goal to, if you like, be able to trade as living man and woman and have our own community. I think he talked that he was starting communities where you have, you know, some that grow food, some that know about natural health and nutrition, so that you can literally gather a community and share between yourself knowledge or practical skills or tools. I think that's really, really attractive. We also spoke together yesterday after that meeting and talked about, we realized that yesterday that the way John Smith talked about how common law can be used is that it can instruct the living man and women to arrest others. Did everyone else pick up on that? Could you talk a bit about that?
Well, I didn't listen yesterday, so I don't know what was said. So
no, what you seem to have forgotten what you said last night, because what
I wasn't here.
Yeah, well, what he mentioned is that, from what I understood correctly, was that John Smith said that the living man and women obviously can put together a common law court, and then what they decide in the common law court with the common law jury is they can instruct police to arrest the living man and women. Did anyone else pick up on that? So it's not just, it's a tool that can have authority, because that's what he was going to do, put together a common law court and then instruct. It could be a sort of tool of instruction, if you like. And I think that's also a key tool, a community. And obviously we need to set up more like they do in America with the sheriff system. I know that John Smith has been working really hard also setting up equivalent to the sheriff system in Britain.
Yeah, because we elect the sheriffs where we live, not the politicians, and that's the big difference. They are our people, so that's our protectors, local wise. So we need to have candidates that can represent our interests as living men, living women, and other living life, local where we live. And that is the sheriff's job in America. They're elected by the local community, the local people. That's what we need here.
Exactly. Now I have shared, I had put up 3 videos in the channel Initiate Kune Sara Norge, and last night with John Smith and some previous, but I will try to upload also other videos that were in English. And I need some assistance about making these videos to be shorter and more compact, so it can be very more interesting to share it around, because there have been so many good speakers, and we had from International Tribunal of Public Health, we had many enthusiasts to be more, because when people train in this and know more about it, they are more, have better integrity themselves to stand in front of the policeman and do their work. And everything is only by growing as a human, as a free, independent, strong, living man and woman. Yes, Vegard, you had your hand up. Welcome.
Yeah, I was just common law. We're talking about what was the high uniqueness about being a standing person and a living person, and I just would like to add. No, yeah, sorry, I'm very sorry. It's the programming it's called, but the good news really is that what we are in the order of things, the lower order of things, but the more we rise the vibration up to this plasma state, we experience divine connection with this universe, which literally have the capacity to reheal our body, to teleport in or teleport out sickness, and to have all the electricity we need. This is just a few years ahead of us before we really discover how to use this this love, this state of being a living human being, to make demand directly from the universal. and it is coming. It's just, yeah, we will get.
We know it's coming because Catherine and I, we have been channeling for many years, and I've been told that we are God walking the earth, or Creator walking the earth. Every one of us to have different kind of experiences combined to teach Creator how it is to be human and animal and other beings on this planet under all these conditions and all these situations and all this. And this is about to change, because there comes a time when Creator reach saturation or satisfaction. Yeah, there's nothing more we can do with these bodies without killing everyone off or, you know, blowing up the planet. So that's why there's a plan to create a better society for everyone. But it's a slow process, because people must wake up, one here and one there. And that is amazing what's happening now. We see many people channeling around us, and they don't even know they're channeling. But the way they speak, you can see their faces changes, proportions, their looks changes, and they start talking automatic and tell things that are amazing. And we say, oh, and other channeler. And Alex Jones is one of the most prominent examples of that. All of a sudden he starts ranting. He can sit and rant for an hour about a theme that takes him, and he doesn't even flinch. He doesn't do anything. It's the Creator speaking right through him.
It's the same with Dr. McCullough. It's really that, you know, that American doctor. It's really obvious when he's channeling, because his eyes are sort of protruding, usually all over the place, and he looks around the room. But other times it's just straightforward. His eyes don't even blink. That's like, he's channeling big time, and it's a really clear, easy example to see.
And all of you are also channeling everything, but you're not aware of it. You need to become aware that you're channels, all of you. So when you start monitoring your own thoughts and your feelings combined, then you get other picture, and then comes visual into this, and that's when it's becoming exciting. And that's what I've been doing since I was a child. So I've been around for a while with these things. I'm 68 now.
I'm looking so forward to see you in real life and to meet you one day.
Why don't you come and visit us when the house is ready?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We live in Germany.
Then all of us come to Germany and visit you. We can have a
We
meeting
want to
there
set up a
also.
community.
Yeah, very good. We are working for it. And then thank you to Vegard. Then the next on the list is Ivana.
Hi, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for all the good information. It's like a swamp just taking everything in. And like other ones has said, like, yes, they want us to feel like a criminal, but if you don't know the law, it's difficult to actually know what's your rights.
That's true.
And I had this, I don't want to be just a talker, I'm a doer. So therefore I'm here also tonight, because after 2 years in Spain, that's not legal either to be here, because I'm in the Folkeregister in Norway. But I didn't want to go back because of the vaccine and all the problems. And now I'm actually going back to Norway on the 9th of October. And I have been reading everything that you need to do. And like Spain is a red country, they say that you have to take a test when you come to Oslo. Because I don't have the vaccination or the passport, I need to stay in a quarantine on, I don't have to go to a hotel, but I have to be in a place. I don't even have a home in Norway. So my question is, I don't want to take the test, and I don't want to stay inside an apartment.
You don't have to do anything. It's all just entrapment, contract fraud. I would advise you get a group of friends to meet you at the airport, and actually say no to everything. Do not fill in a landing card in the plane, because that's entrapment fraud. The landing card is entrapment. Do not fill that in. Or if you have a red ink pen, take that red ink pen with you for the landing card and put your name in there in lowercase. But
I think, sorry, but I just think that what the instruction is, if you read the instruction, is that you have to HI, something, some papers you have to fill in.
No, you don't have to do anything. They say you have to do this, and they haven't got to do anything. Just stand your ground.
They're a corporation.
They're a corporation.
Yes, but therefore I'm here now to just, because there's so many, I know I have some rights, but because I don't know them, I am like a tough person. I can just go there, but I know I have to know what should I tell them.
Okay, well, we've got some ready-made 3 sentences here in Norwegian. We were thinking about this. I can read them up and see if this will help you. And if we think it's any good, we'll put them out.
Okay.
Levende liv er hevet over alle døde enheter, slik som regjeringer, politiske verv og titler, domstoler drevet av en kooperasjon, som for eksempel AS Norge eller annen form for kooperasjon, for eksempel bedrift eller privat praksis eller en domstol, innunder en kooperasjons eierskap, styring og kontroll. That's one sentence.
Okay. Inkludert et flyselskap.
Inkludert flyselskap og flyplass. And then we've got another sentence here. We were trying to find good one-liner sentences that we could write down on a chair that everyone could have in their handbag. Here's another one. Jeg et levende menneske hevet over alle eksisterende kooperasjoner over hele verden, jorden. Hvorfor jeg her? That's if you get called to the retten. Hvorfor jeg her? Det for å stille dere til rette for å ha innkalt meg til et ulovlig rettsmøte i en rett som ikke har gyldighet når det gjelder levende mennesker? And then another one, this is for a court summons. Hvilken rett baserer denne retten sin...
Det skal være hvilken menneskerett.
Ja, hvilken menneskerett baserer denne retten sin innkallelse meg på? Jeg et levende menneske. Dere representerer kooperasjonen AS Norge. Ingen kooperasjon står over et levende menneske og derfor uten makt og myndighet til å innkalle, anklage eller dømme meg som levende menneske for noe som helst.
Ja, staten AS Norge har like mye makt som McDonald's, for å si det på
Ok, the worst case scenario. Så kommer jeg på Gardermoen, og så blir jeg tatt inn for å ta en test. Og jeg skulle jo sikkert ha bodd i Norge de siste 2 årene for å komme lovlig tilbake, men altså, hva sier jeg? Nei, det ikke interessant. Jeg vil ikke ha det.
I think the good one to say...
Du kan bare si, jeg tar ikke tilbudet. Ellers takk.
Jeg tar ikke tilbudet, ellers takk. Og dere har ikke lov til å svare noe som helst som mitt menneske i tilstand.
Det et levende menneske.
Jeg et levende menneske.
Nei til tilbudet.
Det du gjør, det å si at jeg en levende kvinne, jeg har tatt ansvar for mitt liv, jeg eier mitt liv, jeg eier mitt pass, jeg eier min fremtid, og dere har ingen rettigheter til å overkjøre meg. Og da vil jeg ha et skriftlig dokument at dere har en rettslig avgjørelse på det, og det har dere ikke, for dere har aldri vært i retten med meg. Og jeg møter heller ikke i en rettssak under dere.
Det bare skaper som kan utstede den.
Ja.
Men om de da sender politiet og sier, ok, hvis du ikke tar testen eller går i karantene, så fengsler vi deg. Hva sier jeg da?
Da skal du si at du vil ha en skriftlig rettsavgjørelse som de kan vise til. Og den saken blir henlagt. Alle saker i Norge har blitt henlagt. Hver eneste gang vi har visst frem til at vi i landets lov, og de har ingen myndighet til å overkjøre oss, hverken med karantene, eller bøter, eller testing, eller krav til vaksinepass.
Hvis du spør politiet om de har vaksinert seg, får de helt bakoversveis, for de gjør ikke det.
Nei, de vaksinerer ikke seg.
The other thing you can do is prove to me that you're not an agent for a DUNS registered corporation, DUNS registered.
Jobber ikke du for AS politiet da? Kan du spørre, det dagsselskap, det har ikke noe med å gjøre det tatt.
Yeah, that's right. Because I did a lot of research years and years ago when I was in Norway. I had a lot of cat and mouse leg with the authorities. And I have one of the things I did a long time ago was use brennesynregister. What would you call that in English? Brennesynregister.
Well,
for people in New York, if they're still here.
Yeah, it's a registry where you register your name as your fiction along with your real
It's name. A business registry. It's a business registry.
I have been there.
Yeah. So what I did was ages ago, before people were looking into this kind of stuff much, I started looking into police stations in Norway and stuff like that. And they're all separate individual companies. And then a few of us started doing this more often. And what happened is that more and more registered companies and individuals and so on remove themselves now from Brønnøysundregistrene, so that you don't get hardly any information now. But I took loads and loads of screen dumps at the time of you know, key things like RS-domstolen, RS-politiet, and Stortinget, RS-statsministerkontor, blah blah blah. I got all for all the corporations calling themselves authorities. It's all just bullshit. So
what you actually say is like, I can come and just tell them I am a like a free spirit, free person, and I don't belong.
No person. Person is the lowest of all.
Okay, yeah. I'm a free spirit then.
No, you're a free living woman, free living.
Human being, free human being. So I can, and I just don't want to have anything of the what they're offering me.
Yeah, just say, where's the contract? You know, show me the contract that I have between you. Where's the contract?
Yep, just ask these things.
Put the emphasis on them. Where's the contract saying that you, as an agent for RS-politiet,
is my boss?
Is my boss. Make them do the work. Make them do the damn work.
And then
I think I have a bad stomach before I go to Norway from.
Yeah.
No, but you can play it nicely. I mean, we've been into this situation as well. We had with us as well printed juridical varsel. So it is in Norwegian. You can give both to the doctor and to the police or to the officers that are on the border. And you can tell them, okay, before we proceed, I would like that you would read this document and sign it. Then we proceed. So because when you have that document signed, basically they take their personal responsibility for everything that will happen to you.
This is what I'm
and
looking
they will
for.
not.
This
you know
is what
what's
I'm actually
happened?
looking for. So where can I get this document?
I can forward it to you. I can put it on here. So it's or if you can put your email address, I can send it to you by email.
Yes, I can.
Because what's happened, you know, the doctor himself, he raised his hands and he said, no, I can't sign this because you're going to take me to the court.
That's correct.
Yeah, because actually, thank you so much. This is what I'm looking for. Something concrete that I can just have some paper and show them, because I will feel so much more confident, because I get so much helpful information. But I know when I get there, a little bit scared of all this crap.
That's
and I just come to Norway and I don't want to sit in jail for 10 days. I just want to enjoy my family. So for me, it's like having something concrete, like this is a paper, I know what to do, and I will stick to the plan, and I will not do anything else. That, okay, this is my right.
Get people to meet you, at least 5 people to meet you. And
but I'm coming at 12:30 in the morning. I don't think I can get 5 people to meet.
I can be there.
Yeah, Mats, he will come and meet you.
And also have your strategies written down.
This is training, and you can take it up on video and tape and send it online.
Can live send it.
Share it live. Yeah. And you are in your full right to say no. You don't have any contract with them, and they don't have any legal right to press you to anything.
No.
You have everything on your side. And there are so many references about it. And if you go to see 19 fakta, Wenche, du husker nettsida til han Stian, hvis ikke han Stian var her. Og Heiko har egne sider. Så har vi OPPT-siden, i 91 Kune Sara Norge-siden, både i Telegram og i Signal og WhatsApp. Så der er masse, og der er det delt dokumenter fra alle de her. Det har vært sendt ut over 13 kampanjer siden 17. mai. Som
det er bare å finne riktig dokumentet, og så er det andre spørsmålet, hvorfor vil det være fint å ha type 5 personer som møter deg?
Because they always meet in numbers, because they do the same. Don't forget Barnevana, when they come and steal your children, the police. They always meet up in numbers. It's just to intimidate.
Yeah.
They even come up with the machine guns.
Yeah.
I have been now in Spain for 2 years, illuminating corruption where I live, so by myself. So I didn't nearly kill me here, but they didn't. So now I'm coming home for a small vacation. So I think it's good to have a bigger number next time.
The thing is, in Norway, people get assassinated. They don't fuck with people
No,
in
they
the
don't.
open. So when we do this, they're not gonna do anything that's gonna cause tension to them because we're 5 million people, right?
That's true.
So it's like one video, and if the news doesn't pick up on that, well, that's, you know, I think I know a news channel that can easily share that to a lot of people. But it's not going to happen if we meet 5 people, or if I meet, or anybody more than, you know. And when people confront you or they request a meeting with you, you can record without telling them. You have the right to record because that's your protection. That's the only way of protecting yourself against your accuser.
Yeah,
exactly.
Doesn't matter where you are, especially if it's the police, right? You can start recording immediately.
You have to have proof for your own jurisdiction, and they cannot say you are not loaded to do it.
I hope you don't see me on a live video on the night from the 9th to the 10th of October, because then I'm in big trouble.
I think you'll be fine. Just write down all those, the help you're going to get. It's really good to practice what to say. And stand in front of the mirror and then practice remember all these lying bastards, the lawyers and so on, and the police. They're all given vast coaching, and politicians, and how to lie through their teeth and how to intimidate. So we also have to do the same. We have to practice. We have to get what to say, what to write, what to do to feel confident. Do it in front of the mirror. Spend a couple of hours doing that. Also, don't look them in the eyes ever. Don't give them an authority. Don't look to them as if you ask them, can I go on now?
Oh, no.
Just say no and walk forward. No, I do not comply. And then just continue walking. Don't wait. Don't hesitate.
Set borders. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
One of the people online here, I don't see the name because I don't have the glasses. He said he had a paper that he showed the police that they had to sign, or the doctor.
That's my husband and I, Vitaly.
So you can contact them in the chat room direct.
Already sent
now
it.
we have 3 more people on the list, questions, and we are much over the 2 hours meeting. And Vegard, short. Vegard, you had your hand up?
Oh, sorry. I think it's from the last time. I'm very sorry.
Okay. Then I cannot see anything more important in the line under here with the chat room.
Vivian?
Yes.
May I had my hand up, but I thought I was gonna leave because it is going over time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Welcome.
May I just say something quickly for Vivian, who's traveling?
Exactly. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say that, and to make folks aware of this in general too, that oftentimes the basis of all of this mask wearing and inoculations that they're pushing on us, there has been some great work, and if Vivian is looking for some documentation, that maybe she can even still do a notice that it has been put before the world that the virus has never been isolated. And there's a great work by, it's also common law, Christopher James of Canada. He is now spearheading police officers who are now facing this same situation. They don't want to be inoculated, and they have been attacking their own people. And so now Christopher James has put forth to the OPP in Canada, the police department themselves, in an affidavit, but because affidavit is a commercial term, most people say if you're coming from a living man or living woman position, you should make it a living testimony in the form of an affidavit. So what Christopher James has done, there was a woman by the name of Christine Massey. She basically did ask it for the Freedom of Information Act pretty much all over Canada and to many agencies around the world, asking them what documentation do they have as they were putting forth these policies that this virus has ever been isolated. No one has been able to provide this information. And so Christopher James did an interview with her, and she has written an affidavit, and that has been put before the police department in Canada, in Ontario. And he has put his own life on the line, as well as the officer who's being attacked at this moment. So there's this evidence that Yvonne may download if she chooses and place the same evidence that these two men have put their lives on the line on and say, what evidence do you have, this airline or whoever it is, what evidence do you have that this virus has been isolated? And do it in a notice if you can, if you have time. I think you said you're leaving on the 9th.
Yes.
Late.
I have seen the things you are talking about in Canada. That he went to court, and he actually said that they couldn't prove that this virus is isolated. So therefore, you cannot actually give all these restrictions for a thing that is not. It's not even there.
Exactly.
But the vaccines are shedding.
Exactly.
And all this discussion we have had since March last year, and we have made 13 different documents sent out to all the communities, all the presidents, all the parliaments about it. So we have sent out the notice of liabilities, affidavits, OPPT documents. 17th of May we started. So we have it all. So you will find all of this, Lynn, in the pages, and there have been hundreds and hundreds of Norwegians have been working very hard with all these documents, and we wish everyone welcome to start a local groups, because then we can share even better, and to make small seminars and help each other to be stronger in the meeting with the authorities.
And just remember, if they want to fine you, they'll threaten you with fines of 20,000. Do not accept any paperwork, so they have to send it to you, because then you can just forward it to the UPU.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And then I call you later so you can show me how to resend the return to sender.
Yeah. I've sent all the kit out here, all the original documents, and I've also put the 2 email addresses so you can forward everything by email.
Are you on Telegram, Yvonne?
Yes, I am.
Okay, in the
Yvonne Klein, the name you see, Yvonne Klein, that's I'm on Telegram.
Okay, because there was a video of a guy in Britain or something, and he traveled by plane, and he explained exactly what he did from traveling to landing to being at his house, and exactly what he did. The police people, they drove him to the hotel 2 times, but he just left again, and then nothing really happened. The only thing that happened was the hotel staff yelling at him to put his MasterCard on the desk, which was so funny. But I can try and find that video, because I share that video with another group.
I think I saw the video, but it's the difficult thing is like I'm in Spain. I'm a citizen of Norway. I'm a Danish, like my passport is from Denmark, and I'm actually going home to go to Mexico to find a community that are like-minded people to stay there and be there for 6-7 months. So I just have to find to know my rights, because I know.
Wait, are you going to Mexico or Norway?
I'm going first to Norway, back to Spain, and then to Mexico. So
Why are you bothering to go to Norway? I would drop it if I were you.
I guess Norway has no way.
No, she have
No
to,
way, Norway.
she have to challenge herself. She have to go to
Sure.
Norway first, because then she can move on, and she have to be the living woman we help through
I
every
think
challenge
that's true.
in
I
our
have
way.
to prove for myself that I can actually come into my own country where I've been living for nearly 50 years, and to just see that I can have the power to go through all the shit I have to go through and then move on.
Exactly.
It's like to be a braveheart, and to be
Absolutely.
a braveheart, you cannot only just talk about it, you have to do it.
Exactly. Do it.
Do
Because
it.
then you will then you will understand that they are so stupid, all of them, and you are much stronger than them. This is to do it. Don't be afraid and flee away from them. Go through them.
Yeah, I have to go through them. I think that's to go through the fear, because I can really feel I have fear for coming back, and it shouldn't be like that. And that's all the bad programming they're doing. And I don't want to have this programming. I want to be a free soul.
Exactly.
The main thing is to stay in peace and to stand your ground. And where they're screaming and shouting and threatening you, just stay in peace, stand your ground. Don't raise your voice like they will be raising your voice. And if they do shout over you, I kept repeating to them, this is not a dictatorship. And you can keep saying that and just say, I do not contract, I do not consent. But the main thing for yourself is to stay in peace and stand ground.
That's true. But
They
now
will.
I'm
They will
talking like Spanish, English, and I will come back to my country. I don't even know if I have the right phrases to tell them in Norwegian.
Tell them in English. Speak English.
Yeah, but if you take it very slowly, right? Just picture that you're talking to a very mentally ill person, right? If they have Down syndrome. That's usually that's how I trained everybody to use my high pressure equipment when I travel around the world. I explained it very simple and very slowly, and then I could see if the monkey could do it, right? So just picture them as mentally ill patients, and it's like, yeah, you know, this is this and this is that, you know, just make it easy, you know.
Yeah. Okay, but then you have the contact, Mats and Lynn, and I'm sure you will manage.
My number is in the chat.
Yes.
Just send me an SMS.
Yeah, I have uploaded the English version of OPPT 776, because this is about the Free State or independence, and also the photo about what is the difference between common law and law of sea. So you can read it, print it out, put it on your status on Facebook, so people can start to educate themselves.
Maritime law is corporate law. It's as simple. You're a living man or woman. It's just simple.
Yeah. You are above everything. You
That's
are
right.
the boss in your life, and nobody else.
You create the walking the earth. Remember that. You create the walking the earth.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can come and feel free and don't go and stay in my house for 3 days and then have to take a test.
You shouldn't do any quarantine, no, neither test or anything. This is stupid. This is their game, and you shouldn't fall into it
If
at all.
I'm sick, I will stay in bed. That's normal. Everyone, if they're sick, they stay home if they can't be able to do anything.
Where is your home?
In Spain right now, but
no. Where's your home?
My home?
Okay, there are two more.
Your home is in your body.
Now we have crossed the line with 3 hours. Usually I only have 2 hours with this evening meetings. We have, so you can have coffee, okay. But we don't need to hear these discussions.
No.
Okay, I give Katrin the last word of tonight because she had the main speech.
Yeah, I'd just like to propose that perhaps Vega and Microgreens, Mats Håkan, perhaps you can gather together great, you know, what you can say in Norwegian, short, a bit longer, so that we have something in our handbags in Norwegian that we can pull out any time at any place. no contract or whatever, but in Norwegian, for idiots and slightly longer sentences. And then we can share
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
strategies. And also, when I lived in Norway, I had another protection. I had basically a list of about 40 people's email addresses and mobile phone numbers for emergencies in case they got locked or kidnapped or murdered or put in psychiatry. So that might be a useful one for people in this group to have. You want people to be able to, if you disappear, if you go off the radar for 24 hours, then people can ring around, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, good night, everybody. Take care.
Good night.